What's going on, fly crew over there? I'm super stoked because I got these from Efoil Solutions. It just came in the mail and I'm gonna put in the water for a little review. Efoil Solutions is the only company out there who actually is paying attention and evolving with the sport of Efoil. It's pretty cool. The guy behind the scenes is called Jeff. His name is Jeff. They're from Hawaii, and he's putting a lot of effort to customize the board or gear, meaning making. It's the only company who actually pay attention to evolve the sport of Efoil by making customized pieces, not only for Fliteboard, for also for other companies out there such as Lift and so forth. Now, if you don't know the channel, my name is Rolando. Please subscribe, leave the like below, and I have my intention of my video is actually to help people out on the sport of Efoil, just like Jeff is doing. And I just try gear out, try different props and gear to see how it feels, and let you guys know if you should buy or not. So my opinion, it's sincere, to be honest with you. So before this, Jeff sent me, he has a line of different things. The shims that you can put on the front and the back of your board, a gasket protection that you can put on the battery, and also these. But this, when he sent me, it was made of carbon fiber, and it snapped, it broke on me. And I told Jeff, if you want to see that video, please look at the link below, and they can explain about the shims as well. So when I mentioned that to him, he took out of production, said, no, Rolando, we're gonna make out of aluminum billet. And that's what he did. So he sent me the new ones they have right now. I brought it outside so you can see how it looks like on sunlight, so you can take a look at the finish. As you can see over here, the bottom one is the short fuselage, the middle one is the Fliteboard original, and the top one is also by Efoil Solutions. I have them outside so you can take a look at how good they look. They look like they're made by Fliteboard, and the finish, it's perfect. They even come with a little gasket on the bottom as you put on the main fuselage. The question is how they fit and how they perform in the water. Now, going back, as I said, going back to this, the way they're made, the shorter one is exactly 25 millimeters lower and 25 millimeters above the original Flight, which is 1 inch lower and 1 inch higher. Now, I have an idea what this might do for the ride, but I'm not gonna give my opinion to you at ride, of course. So I'm gonna put it in the water right now and try this out. And by all means, guys, always stay to the end, because sometimes when I'm recording, well, on my 360, I don't have a mic over there while I'm in the water, so you might not be able to understand what I'm saying. But by the way, by all means, I always do my final thoughts towards the end in case you don't understand. So let me get this in the water and let you know how they act. So here the fuselage right now. Of course, as you can see, this one's the beat up one. This is my original one, and the short version and the long one. I'm gonna start actually with this one over here, and I'm very stoked to get this in the water. So let's put this on, and that's it. So as expected, perfect fitting, no problems at all, great finish, and there's no, of course, this is machine made, so it's a perfect fitting, no problems at all, super stiff, just it's as if was the original one, and of course, slightly longer. The reason why I'm choosing this first, because I'm into carving, so I'm gonna see how this goes. And just to let you know, I'm using the 800 flyer and the 290 stab. I wish I had my 1500 here, because that would probably be better. But however, as usual, guys, stay to the end. I'm gonna give my final opinion. But anyhow, the setup I'm using right now is the 800 flyer with the 290 stabilizer with the long stab by Efoil Solutions. All right, I've been in the water for about just 2 minutes just to feel the long stab. So I can tell the board becomes a little bit heavier, of course, because a big, huge, just about a longer tail. Now, it makes the board much more stable. I can be in a straight line, so I'm gonna do two things right now. First of all, I'm gonna try to zigzag with the board right now. Start with zigzags right now, just to feel it. So it does feel very stable and is lightly heavy. Not too much, but slightly heavy. But that's what I should expect from it.
Now, I want to carve with it to see long carves, how it feels on the carving. Here we go. Yeah, what I expected. What I expect to be. Takes a wider turn, a little bit heavy, and super stable. And the funny thing that I'm still having my foot positioning in the same spots. So for the 2 tests I did before, I was going at gear 10, about 20 miles an hour. Now I slow down to gear 6, about 15 miles an hour now. And I want to try the pump feeling or the glide. And again, I wish I have a 1500 wing, but I'm gonna try the pump now. Oh yeah, man. Oh wow. Oh man. So it's not pitch sensitive, so that means you feel the pump of the board going up and down. I can just imagine how great this should be for either surfing, especially for downwinding and pumping, because you feel the tail pushing up and down. It makes the board less pitch sensitive, but you can feel the power of the glide. Man, it's major difference. I just wish I had the 1500 jet wing with me right now. You can just imagine how improved the jet wing would be paired up with this for gliding and for downwinding. All right, let me go back and try this small fuselage now. So I just got out of the water right now, and of course, I wish I had the 1500 wing, but it feels more secure. I mean, it's not pitch sensitive, but you can tell there's a lot of power as you try to pump on the board. And then I would assume, of course, that if you had the 1500 jet on a downwind and waves, you glide much more. So it increase your gliding, I would say for at least 10%. But hang on to the end, because I'm gonna give my personal opinions later. So let me switch now to the shorter mast. Sorry, shorter fuselage. So just installed the shorter fuselage now. However, I do have a little bad news, and I don't blame that. I mean, it is what it is. You see, the screw is not all the way flushed against the main fuselage, so therefore it's giving a little play. As you can see right there, this screw is moving a little bit, which in return, that little move, look at that, is a lot of play on the tail. Now, Jeff is a very good guy. I'm sure he's gonna correct this, or maybe I just got one fuselage that wasn't drilled all the way. Dude, it's about like 1 millimeter more. I have this tight, so I can probably go home and put in a drill and make that a little difference for myself. But I'm sure most likely I got a fuselage that was in perfect drill all the way. But anyhow, and I'm sure if I say this to Jeff says, okay, I want to send this to me. He's very good with that. It's not a big deal breaker, but the thing is, I'm gonna have to predict how this is gonna feel if this was completely solid. Because this little play over here, although it's not much over here, as you can see, it's just a little bit, it transfers to a lot on the back. Look at the back. So anyhow, I'm gonna try to do, you gotta make lemonade when you get lemons. So let's see what happens right now. All right, once again, at 10 gear, about 20-21 miles an hour. And it's so loose, man. And very pitch sensitive, meaning it goes up and down very fast, of course. And it feels much looser, especially coming from the long mast, the long fuselage. So I'm gonna now test like the zigzags on it and see how it feels loose. It's so loose, man. Although I feel the little play, just a little snap of the that little gap, was not much, but it's super loose. This in slalom would be incredible. So now let me do a long carve on it right now. See how it feels. Let's throw it. sharp turn, man. Imagine this on a flow series. To make a 360, you can make a 360 in a dime. If I had a flow S, this thing would be like turning in a dime in 2 seconds. Oh, it's fun. Zigzagging again. Now, I'm gonna try pumping. Yeah, much faster cadence. So, much faster cadence. Much faster cadence because it's such a small, short fuselage that might be good for flat pumping. Very fast gauge, no resistance at all on the back. So this, with the 1800 jet, you probably could pump on flat water. Oh, this is cool, man. Yeah! Oh man, Jeff, dude, you're great, man. You're definitely pushing, customizing your boards for such a great range. Let me go back. Man, this little wing, it's awesome. The short step is definitely my favorite for the style of riding that I ride. Definitely, it's gonna be my favorite in my career, in my arsenal. That play that we saw, then it was a major factor. I thought it was going to be worse. However, I don't know, man. I'm stoked. This thing is awesome. So hang in there. I'm now gonna give my final thoughts on both of the stabs, pros and cons, and so forth. So far, so good.
All right, guys. Sorry for making such a long video, but as I said to you, I was going to get in a lot of details. Once again, I'm making long because I'm trying to be transparent as much as I can to let you know the pros and cons about this, and you should buy or not. So let's go with the pros and cons. The pros, amazing little toy. It's not a toy, this is awesome because you can really explore the range and diversity you can have for each wing. Let me, also one thing too, on the way back I called Jeff and I mentioned to him about that little problem with the first fuselage, the second fuselage, the short one. As you know, I really like this. So the short fuselage, he said that he did get somebody who called him as well, who said that the depth wasn't perfect. So he already told me that problem is being fixed already. Is normal thread, and if you bought one and came with a short fuselage, shorter hole, just send it back to him. He's gonna give you the fixed one. But the fitting is perfect, especially with this. I mean, this was definitely a problem. But even though the fitting wasn't perfect on this one, it still didn't change that much. But anyhow, the fitting is gonna be perfect because I know with the fitting with the long fuselage was perfect. Anyhow, let me start with the long fuselage first. So it gives you more glide. It's amazing how well tracked the board becomes. Now, let's say for instance, you gotta find out first. Let me rewind one thing. You gotta find out first what type of style of riding you like, and then you're gonna have your preferred wings. And based on that, this will help you to bring that wing to the next level. So one thing, for instance, in Hawaii, and that's what Jeff told me. Jeff told me that most people in Hawaii are preferring the long one. Why? Because there's a lot of downwinding over there, a lot of wakes and a lot of waves. So this for downwinding to wake thief, meaning get in a wake of a boat and surf behind it, gives more glide. So this would be for those type of riders who are in waves or in wakes or downwinding. Definitely helps. Now, needless to say, if you're on a flat lake, this also is gonna give more glide. All right, so this over here is going to improve your glide. The pumping action of this is a little bit limited because there's a lot of travel. It's another inch, so your pumping is not as effective because you have a big glide, and of course depending on the wing that you're pairing with. But for wakes and surf and downwinding, this is perfect. Now, what are you gonna do to your board? It's gonna make your board have more range. It's gonna have your board have more range, have more glide. The only downside of it is that it's gonna not be as maneuverable. You won't be turning left and right there very fast. It's gonna be a little bit slower. And also, if we're gonna make a 360, the radius is gonna take a little longer, wider for you to make that turn. But of course, also change to depending what wing are you using. Now, I mentioned that this would be more for that advanced rider, but I can also see a beginner taking the board to make even more stable. So this would make your board even more stable, undoubtedly. I love it. I love it, and I want to get into my 1500 wing more often. Now, let's talk about the short one. This baby, it's awesome, especially for the way that I like to ride. I like to ride fast and maneuver fast. Now, and the best wing for that is the 900S. However, I had the 900S, but I don't like the 900S because it's very predictable at high speeds. Meaning so loose, if you're not making a turn confidently, the board skips under you, in my case. That's why I like the 800, because the 800 tracks better, like being on a rail when you're carving. Anyhow, neither one or the other, but anyhow, with this, on the 800, it's so maneuverable. And you still have the traction, of course, because of the 800. Now, it's so maneuverable. You gain a lot of a turn, pivot in carving. And when you're making a 360, as you saw in the video, I start giggling like a little girl because you can turn much faster. I can just imagine the 900S making a 360 on this. It's going to spin in a dime. It's amazing what this little tail can do. Now, one thing that I noticed too, the cadencing of pumping, because this is such a long mast, it takes a little more effort for you to pump. And with this, the cadence of pumping is much faster. So I can see me in the future putting the 800 jet on the front and the little tail on the back, and be able to pump on the combination of the nano battery and the ultralight board. And with the 1800 and this tail, I almost sure that can be able to pump with no power. I want to do that one day, and that's my favorite because that's the style of riding that I have. I like the style of going fast and maneuverable, so that's why I like this tail better. So for each of their own, cons, none. There's no cons on this diet, guys, because let's face it, it's $150 for both of them. I am sorry for interrupting, but I made a mistake over here, guys. They are actually $155 each. Still, buying both at $310, you're getting a great deal, a great diversity as how you can use each wing. On the top of that, you can also choose what color you want, silver or black. Plus shipping. And you can expand your style of riding much more. Now, trust me, there's a big variety of wings for Fliteboard. They're doing a great job, especially now with wings now. So you have a big diversity of wings. And on the top of that, you can take an individual wing and make that wing now perform completely different. So you can take the jet, make it go longer, or you can take the jet and make it more maneuverable with this. So by all means, guys, a new wing is gonna cost you $600, $700, $800,000. This is gonna cost you $150 for 2 little stabs. That's gonna make a way difference the way you ride. Definitely put your money into this. I have Jeff, thank you, dude, so much, because I love these things now. I want to get into jets so I can experiment this more, but also one day I want to get the 1800 and see if I can pump with this. And then, okay, I'm babbling now. I'm speaking too much now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. By all means, try to subscribe. Leave your comments below. Always give me suggestions for new videos or things that you want to see. I'm always up for the challenge and try to bring new content. By all means, thank you so much for watching again. If you have any questions, let me know. And be safe. And I'll see you guys in the water. Be safe out there, guys. Thank you for watching.